be over. Lions are going to win it. Lions are bringing the NFC North title back to Detroit.
All right. What's happening, people? I can never get sick of hearing Dan Miller call that call when the Lions won the NFC North championship. And I'm going to play it 1,000 times more, man. So listen, a couple of extra rules tonight, trying something new. So we're going to put a 15-second slow roll on comments. I think it'll help us to be able to pay more attention to the chat and get more questions answered, get your statements out there, and that way we can really enjoy it together, right? And then also I turned it on for subscribers only. It's just a test for tonight. See how it goes. Obviously, I would love to earn your respect and your subscription. That's the goal. I get 100,000 people a month that come and watch, but they don't all subscribe, and I'm wondering why. So what do I got to do to earn it? I'll just keep working harder. How about that? Just like Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell say, I want to earn it. They got to earn it. Let's earn it together. If you feel like it's not conducive to watching the channel, we'll make changes for the next one. So it's just a test for tonight. We'll make some more changes tomorrow. But let's get rolling right away. Welcome everybody into the chat. So we have Tracy and Better the Hunt as our moderators tonight. Please be respectful of them. The only thing we ask is just try to watch the F-bombs and be respectful to people. That's all we ask. With sponsors and things like that, it can get kind of touchy. We just want to make sure we're putting out a good product. And that way, anybody that comes to watch it later, they see a great community that we are. So right away, we got Bucky McBad in here. And who else is in here? We got John Desage, Lone Wolf, J-Rod, Chris Time, Craig Hogue, Greg Warner, Will Akers, Trey Say, and Peter Charles Braley. So appreciate all of your subscriptions. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being part of the Rock Down Podcast Network group. So tonight may be a light group just because we've got some extra rules in, and that's okay. I want to have some conversations tonight about, what happened today and what really didn't happen today. So not a whole lot moving. But let me see if there's any questions or anything in here right away.
That's what I'm talking about.
Question: can you guys hear the subscription music right now? Like when that happens, can you guys hear it? The reason why I ask is sometimes it'll mute me, and I might have to turn that feature off in the next one. Okay, thank you. So I'll probably have to turn that feature off while we're on. I don't know how to do it right at this second. It takes a minute. Okay, so let's see what everyone's asking right away. Tracy, thank you. Appreciate you sending me your info. And Armstead, is he coming with Reader? J-Rod asks, is Armstead coming with Reader? So here's what I know about Reader. He'll be here tomorrow. I have not heard that Armstead is taking a visit with the Lions. It was reported by this guy, Aaron Wilson. And I looked up his Twitter, a little bit deeper to see who this guy was. And what it says is that he is an NFL insider that covers the NFL and the Texans. Must be a radio station or a news station, KPRC2. He's previously worked for the Houston Chronicle and the Baltimore Sun. So shout out to Derek. I think he jumped on it. 1 sec.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, number 9.
So I think he jumped on it right away. I seen it flash on Twitter, but then I went and checked Ian Rappaport and all the other, bigger guys. I haven't seen it reported by anybody else. It's not to say that it's not accurate. I would say, if this guy is credentialed and works as an insider, that his information should be pretty solid, that the Lions at least have interest. I did not read it that it was like he's speculating that it's interest. More or less that the Lions do have interest. So I just don't have any other information other than that. I wish I did. I wouldn't mind seeing Arik Armstead join the Lions. I haven't looked deeply into his stats yet. Let's do that together. Let me pull up his stuff real quick. And let's take a look. Let's see what Arik Armstead is all about. I know that he was a problem in the middle, though. I know that in that game, in the second half, he was a problem, just like everybody else seemed to be in that game. All right, let me pull this down here. All right, Arik, let's throw you up on the screen. All right, so that looks terrible. Hold on. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And so last season, 16 solo tackles, 4 assists, 7 sacks. Pretty good in the sack region. Overall, 81.9. I mean, that's pretty darn solid. 85.1 in the pass rush. That's probably better than anybody else we have on the Lions right now, not named Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know his age. We'll look that up in a second. 42 total pressures. That's pretty good coming from the defensive line. And let's take a look at some premium stats here. So he is 30 and a third years old. So he's not completely over the hill in football years. 6'7", 5.1 speed, 290 pounds, big dude, long arms. That's what I look for first is, he's that tall. He's got to have some pretty decent arms on him. Let's see, round 1, pick 17. I mean, mostly in the green, so pretty solid season. Let's see what he did against the Lions. Let's look at the postseason. So it looks like he missed everything after week 14. Is that what I'm seeing here? I wonder why. Is he the one that got injured in the playoff game? Where's the playoffs at? Why is it not in here? There we go. Postseason. All right. So weekly grades against the Lions. Terrible grade against the Lions. So that means that our offensive line held him at bay. So that's good for the Lions, right? I mean, but that would also tell you that up against, the superior offensive lines in the league, he may struggle a little bit. But then again, if you were to add a player like this that plays well against pretty much every other team in the league, I mean, he did really well against the Packers and even better against KC. You add him to our defensive front, and he might elevate quite a bit. So, yeah, I would say do it all day. I have no idea what he wants for money, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor. He's probably wanting a ring. He's missed out the last couple of seasons. Well, what is it now? Three or four seasons out of the last 5 with the Niners that they've had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl or been to the Super Bowl, and it didn't work out for him. So I would take a flyer on Arik Armstead. I mean, he's somebody just purely looking at the stats without diving into any tape. And then, of course, knowing a little bit about the guy, that he's a pretty darn good ball player. I'd say let's do it. So hopefully Brad Holmes is listening. I'll cover the first $1 of the contract, Brad. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll donate $1. No problem. We'll run, some sort of a fan-driven event for you. Let's see what else we got in here. The question on Reader, like I said, he'll be here tomorrow. The news is they're expecting for him to get a deal done. I don't know anything other than that. I don't know any particulars about the deal, what's being offered or money or anything like that. It's just the word on the street is they're supposed to be working out a deal tomorrow, and the Reader's going to have obviously an opportunity to sit down and talk to Brad and the team, or the management team. Let's see here. Appreciate you, John Desage says this is easily my favorite Lions podcast. The way that it chat interacts with each other and will appreciate it, man. Means a lot to me. Peter Charles Braley, hey, he says, are you taking phone calls tonight? If not, let me call in because I've had enough of this team and the fan base who needs a good talking to. We will. So I'll bring calls in. Just give me a little bit of time to get through some of the, the regular stuff. And we'll open it up. Just remind me again, because you know how I am. I get to talk and I'm long-winded, and the next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh my God, we didn't open up the phone lines. Vincent Some says, I watched his press conference too, and he seems legit. I like him. Who are we talking about? Carlton? Yeah, so I got, where'd I put them? I got these for Carlton. I was thinking about just wearing these all night while I was on the podcast, because apparently when you address the media, you can't take your glasses off, or when you address another person. That's the only thing I'd say to Carlton, man, is like, that was kind of rude, dude. I mean, like, you should probably take your glasses off. Who went through that in, I think it was, wasn't it college ball this last year? It was Prime wearing his glasses and his hat, and that coach called him out for it. That it's disrespectful. I mean, in the world of having respect for others and whatnot, yeah. If you're going to introduce yourself to somebody, maybe you should take your glasses off. I don't know. Maybe it's just some of us were taught different things when we were younger, I guess, like holding the door for the ladies, or always shaking somebody's hand and looking someone in the eyes. I mean, I don't know. I guess to each their own, I guess. Bucky McPad says, do the Lions still hold the best roster in the NFC North? Man, that's a tough question, because it's not done yet. Let me see if I've got my notes still up, because I started writing everybody down. I probably don't. The last notes that I had were the Vikings clearly made some big improvement, and they just don't have a good quarterback. So for that reason, I would say the Lions still have the better roster. Offensively, we have the better roster, 1,000% offensively. Defensively, I don't know. The jury's out, because Carlton Davis needs to stay on the field, right? Amik Robertson needs to stay on the field. Marcus Davenport needs to stay on the field. These guys all have injury concerns. So that's the question, is if they play, I think we're good. If they're on the sidelines, I think we're in trouble. I don't know how much more clear it gets than that, right? I mean, that's the line. Get on the field. Get on the field and play for us. And I think we'll be all right. I do like Carlton Davis and his aggression. He's an aggressive football player, aggressive style. On some plays, it actually burns him a little bit. Like, he gets over aggressive up in the box. Like he'll be charging up, on the route, and wide receiver will slip behind him, and then the ball goes over top of him. I've seen that a few times in some of the highlights. That aggression has to be tamed a little bit, especially in man-on-man, which he's expecting to come in and play man-on-man, because that's what Aaron Glenn likes to run. We've just been running with the wrong cornerbacks. Let me keep moving down the chat here. Lone Wolf, let's get one in from you here. He says, what's my biggest concern about the last 2 days? Biggest concern right now is I don't think Brad Holmes has been as active as we had hoped. And he hasn't definitely not been as active with our own guys. I knew that, or at least it was reported that, there was a certain amount of this roster that were coming back. Out of the 20 plus free agents that we had, the list was like 6 or 7 or something like that, had the highest possibility of coming back to the Lions. And I don't know why I left James Houston off of my list. Like, completely left him off the list. But that was and I had a conversation with Derek. He knows that the James Houston is supposed to come back. The issue is, are we getting better? Are we getting better? So I think my biggest concern is that he hasn't been as active as we expected, but he is addressing needs. He's not taking the best player available. So maybe that's the hitch in Brad Holmes' step, right? He's BPA all day in the draft, needs in free agency. Because if he would have taken best player available, it wouldn't have been any of the guys that we've signed so far. None of them. My opinion. It would have been Christian Wilkins. It would have been Daniil Hunter. It would have been guys like that. Xavier McKinney. L'Jarius Sneed, who's still hanging out there. Like, there's still potential for that deal to get done. It's interesting, though, how Brad Holmes works. We'll leave it at that. Zeros, I just closed it. I didn't see how many TFLs, but he had 7 sacks, which is pretty good. Let's see here. Tracy says, according to All Titans website, it says that the Lions, Texans, and Bengals were all interested in him. Nothing else reported yet. Perfect. Yeah, who was the 49er that busted up his ACL on the sideline? I thought that was Armstead. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't. I remember Tobin wrote, says Kevin Zietler and Dalton Risner are the best guards left. All right, let's talk about best players left for a second. And appreciate the compliments, J-Rod. And then we'll come back to the chat here in just a moment. So I think it's working already, man. I mean, the questions are coming in. They're great. I'm able to see them all. I know it's a little bit slower, but I think it's going to work. And we can always speed up the chat too. I just want to get everybody in and get their questions because I hate, when people kind of get left out. Yeah, Donovan, I'll open up phone lines. Just give me a little bit to go through little information. It's crazy how much I can talk, isn't it? Like I keep coming up with all these topics to talk about. It's nuts. All right. So best players available as of 7:30 today. I don't really know everything that's changed since then. I'm going to skip over the quarterbacks because we don't need one. I'm going to skip over the running backs because we don't need one. Let's talk wide receiver. We do need one, but I don't think that it's going to come from free agency. I would be highly surprised unless DPJ or Josh Reynolds does not come back. Then I would say the door's open. Mike Williams, obviously released from the Chargers. Marquise Brown, what was he released from? The Cardinals. Michael Thomas. Odell Beckham Jr., which no way, he ain't coming. Hunter Renfrow, interesting option. I would say no, but I do believe that he is Brad Holmes' guy, 1,000%. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, KJ Osborne, Marquez Valdez Scantling. So those are your top 8, 10 wide receivers available right now. I really don't think any of them are solid fits for the Lions right now. There could be one. I know someone asked me about Marquise Brown in the update this afternoon. Interesting option. I just don't know enough about him. And see, maybe I'm just like Brad. I mean, what does he say? You just don't know these guys. So if you just don't know them, you don't know them. And it's hard to evaluate them based on what you don't know. So it takes research to really try to figure out some of these guys. And, listening to press conferences, like I heard someone mention or seen someone mention in here, they do tell you a lot about a player, believe it or not. They really do. Especially if you watch the mannerisms,
Jameson makes the catch. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, number 9.
Shout out to whoever just subscribed. I missed your name. Appreciate it. Welcome to Rockdown Detroit Lions. So offensive line. So that's my biggest concern. We brought back Graham Glasgow, and there's still plenty of time left. We have the whole offseason in front of us now. Like now there's no big rush. The flurry of 72 hours is over, which is the first 3 days of free agency, the tampering period and the first day. It's done. So now it's just who fits, who's left, There's probably going to be some meetings, people coming in to visit like DJ Reader. And I think offensive line is a big concern. And the reason why I say that is, I love Graham Glasgow's press conference today. Absolutely. The most I've ever heard that guy talk was today. He seems very shy, like he doesn't like to talk a whole lot, but he's kind of known as the funny guy, which blows me away. And so is Colby Sorsdahl, I guess. He says that, he likes to kind of goof off a little bit, and Colby was even worse, more of a goof. And that's great. I mean, that's great to have around the locker room. It keeps things light and fresh, and keep people jubilated, I guess. But when he said this, we will figure it out. I'm like, oh no, what are we going to figure out here? He was talking about Coyote Awosika being solid. I didn't see that. He was talking about Colby, obviously, in my opinion, got feet to the fire and got torched his rookie season. But coming from William and Mary, good dude, solid. I mean, he's solid as they come, but definitely didn't see the type of competition that you're going to see at the other D1 schools. So maybe he makes a big jump in year 2, but I do not see Awosika and Colby Sorsdahl being big time backups for us that we, if both guards go down and those guys are in, we're in trouble. I'm just going to say we're in trouble. And God forbid Frank Ragnow goes down, we're in even more trouble. So that's if back to your question, biggest concern, that's it. Brad's not being active enough right now. A plethora of really good offensive linemen are gone. Yes, some of them commanded a big bag, but some of them didn't. And to me, I think that's telling for the situation that we're coming up on. So I'll come back to the chat in 1 minute. Offensive line, Tyrone Smith, Trent Brown, Connor Williams, DJ Humphreys, Kevin Zietler, to your point, and Dalton Risner, to your point. Both of those guys are available. Kevin Zietler is 6'4", 340 pounds. He was a first-round pick in 2012, so he's been around for a minute. And, according to all of his measurables, and I like this Yahoo Sports page, man. It's pretty good. According to all of his measurables, I mean, he's spot on a perfect size guard. And having 11 seasons of NFL experience, he's somebody that you can plug in and play. Coming from the Baltimore Ravens, that this guy is well coached. And I think that he is somebody that if you can bring in on a affordable enough deal, it's just like a Graham Glasgow kind of deal. It's somebody that should be able to come in, plug in, and play. Now, let's take a look at some of his PFF real quick. And then I'll jump into the chat after we talk about Risner. Yeah, this guy actually has pretty good grades. All right, so played almost 1,000 snaps last year. Only had 4 penalties. That's a solid season, man. Real solid. Only allowed 2 sacks. Overall, 69.3. That was better than Jonah Jackson. Pass blocking, 82.5. Way better than Jonah Jackson. Run blocking, 59.7. That's the problem. That was probably right around Jonah Jackson's. But other than that, see, solid. 4 penalties, 982 snaps, 2 sacks. I would take that all day. All day. And that we love to pass and we love to set up the run first, but I think that he would be just fine. Absolutely. Now, let me look up Risner now. So Dalton Risner played 745 snaps last year, only 3 penalties, and didn't give up any sacks at all. Overall, not the greatest of grades. Pass blocking, marginal. Run blocking, not the greatest. He allowed 11 hits and 30 pressures. Primarily, all of his snaps at left guard. Let me go back to Zietler. I want to see how many. Yeah, only 19 pressures and 1 hit. So pretty solid, man. Played right guard. And Graham Glasgow can play either. So you could put him at right guard and put Graham at left. No problem. So right now, I'd say Zietler would be the front runner. If the Lions were going to bring somebody in for, a free agent acquisition, he would probably be the one, on this list. If it came from this list. So, all right, here we go. Let's see what we got left here in the chat. Shadow Viper says, I was cooking dinner, but I'm here at the beginning of the stream. Man, I haven't eaten really, but all day. I was cleaning out the studio and getting things rearranged, and all this stuff's going to get changed, and we're just trying to get ready for the season. Chris says, Arik Armstead in 2023, sacks 7, tied for 12, pressure rate on 3rd and 4th down, 22.2%. First, pass rush grade, 86.5. 5th, win percentage, 15.2. That's marginal. 9th, pass rush productivity, 7.5 was 10th. Stats among interior defensive linemen. Hey, that's nice call there, Chris. Good job on the stats, man. Appreciate it. So, look, if Arik Armstead is not on Brad Holmes' radar like it's been speculated, he should be. I mean, that's an immediate upgrade right there. King SJ, what's happening, man? What's the weather like in Toronto right now? I got to get out there. I have to get out there. There's a place that I want to go fishing that is northwest of there. Or maybe it's not northwest. Fraser River. I don't know how far that is from Toronto, but I want to do some giant sturgeon fishing up in the Fraser River. It's on the bucket list. Let's see. Michael Jordan says Arik would definitely help us, but those stats are too good for Brad to pick up. We need hurt players or 1 or 2 sacks. I'm really just hoping that Brad obviously knows something or sees something, has inside information on something that we can't see. And I would say the answer to that is most definitely he does. We get like 1% of what these guys get. And unless you're able to ask the questions and you're in the room asking the right questions, we're never going to get the information. And that goes back to what I was saying this afternoon, that, media needs the right people in the room, and that will help the fans. And that's, one of the biggest reasons why we do this is we're trying to get the right information that the fans want. If I were to be walking into that room, the first thing I would do the night before is come right here and say, give me the questions. What do you guys want to know? Now, it doesn't matter what I want to know. I'll get the information that I need, but what do you want to know? And just see if there are questions that they'll allow us to ask, because there's that component to it too. Vincent Somes likes Leggett and Kool-Aid or a top guard. I see as our first pick. J-Rod says Risner is buddies with Graham Glasgow. I believe he interviewed with Brad Holmes, but chose Minnesota. Familiar coach or something. How long ago was that? Was that in the last couple of years? Cap room, I think last I heard was around 45 million. Let's take a look. I take that back. I forgot we had signings today. 29.3 million. It's a fictitious number. The beginning number to the season it's a guide. If you remember last year, what did we have? Like 24, 25 million. And J Mommy, I'm going to come back to that because I've got a funny story about Otsego Lake. 20 we had what 25 million last year, and we got through free agency, signed all of those guys, got out of free agency and replenished it back to like 28 million. So it's just a fictitious number. It's a good guide, it's a good start. Don't worry about the number. If Brad needs money, he can find money. He can make it work. Or he could do what all the other teams do and just go in the hole. Because right now you don't have to be back under the cap until next year this time. So you can go over the cap as long as you get under by the new league year. And that's what some teams do. You know, they just go out and spend a ton of money that they don't have, and then they figure out a way to get themselves out of it. That dude B says Ziegler absolutely needs to be signed. I have a feeling that since Jonah was in and out all year, they believe the young guys can fill in. I don't see it. The bench guys played below average at best. I would agree with that. I mean, in the first game that we had Jonah out, I think Colby got wrecked, like completely wrecked, if I remember correctly. Like he was just getting thrown around, and Goff was under attack like all day. Oh, it must be nice. King SJ is in Myrtle Beach. Nice, man. So J Mommy, I went to Otsego Lake. Like I planned this fishing trip, and I wanted to fish Otsego Lake because it had sturgeon. I was there for a week. I didn't catch or see one fish the entire week. And I went in the first week of August. It probably wasn't sturgeon season, but I just wanted to go fish the darn lake. I was really up there bass fishing. Not one fish. Like there was no fish. Didn't even see a minnow or a turtle, nothing. I don't think there's any fish in that lake unless it's probably ice fishing, you know? Brent says, I don't believe Brad Holmes will ever put the Lions in financial problems. He pinches a penny so hard he makes it scream. Oh, that's funny. At least we're not going to be, in cap purgatory, though. I think that's the biggest thing is being financially responsible with a franchise like this. It's hard because you have so many opportunities to sign big name players that require big name contracts, and you want to have that, ace coming off the end or up the middle or running out of the backfield or catching a pass downfield, but you're going to pay for it at some point. And I think that we've got it figured out. So from here on out, the way that I'm going to approach the offseason with Brad and the Lions is very simple. I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting him to continue to build through the draft like he has been, which I've expected. I just expected this year he would have treated it a little bit differently, and I was wrong. To a degree. I mean, I said that he would go after the second tier guys. That's what he did. I said that he would go after cornerbacks. That's what he did. But I did not expect for him to at least not grab one top tier guy. That was my goal. Just get one. That's it, man. Just one guy on this defense that could help push this line forward. And maybe we'll see it. To someone's comment earlier, they were talking about Matthew Betts. This is not his first rodeo in the NFL. He's not a starter on day one. He's proved nothing so far. And that's true. He did not make it with the Bears back in 2019, I think it was. And, now he's had a few more seasons to hone in on his craft. Maybe he's a much better player than he was in 2019. Maybe he's bulked up, maybe he's muscled up a little bit. I hope he's ready this time around because he's going up against the best offensive line in the league. Now he'll be going up against, I'm sure he'll get his snaps with Panay, but he'll be going up against Taylor Decker. And I don't think that Taylor's going to be able to handle his speed at all. I think that Taylor's feet are going to be a little bit too slow for him. But we'll see what happens. I plan on being there at camp. And we planned on giving away a bunch of tickets again this year. Last year, man, I couldn't give tickets away. I had like 30 tickets to give away. And people wouldn't show up or take them. So I'm glad that we have this audience now because you guys will have an opportunity to go to camp if you don't get tickets. Let's see here. Better the Hunt says, will you come to Idaho and I will get you on a river jet boat on the Snake River? Nice. 12 to 14 foot sturgeon. You gotta be kidding me. So Snake River, is that where Snake River Farms is? So when I used to be an executive chef, fine dining restaurants, I used to order a lot of fish, a lot of salmon, but a lot of high quality Snake River Farms meats, beef, pig, whatever. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. Great stuff out there. Chris Time. So would Reader be that one? I think that I'm underplaying Reader, quite honestly. I'm not giving him as much respect as he probably deserves. And that's just me. I think that I'm prejudging him because of the injuries. And that's just because I've seen it too many times. It's happened to us too many times with the Lions that, we expect to have this guy that has great performances and, did well with the previous team and then comes to the Lions and, Trey Flowers doesn't do a darn thing. And others. So like Jamie Collins, another one. And now I realize that those were the Quinn Trisha, issues. And I mean, that whole thing was a nightmare, but we've seen it too many times that previously injured players come to Detroit and it doesn't work out. It just happened with Emmanuel Mosley. It just happened with CJ Gardner, even though he didn't have a giant injury history. So that's why I don't put all of my stock in it. I think that, the other day I said we would need depth at least, and that's just how I look at it. Like, he's a depth guy until he's not. And I know he's a starter, and I know he's a high quality player. And I know that, he's way above a depth guy. But that's how I would approach it. Like, you're just a depth guy until you're not, even though he's going to come in and start. I think it's good for the team. Absolutely. I think it's an upgrade. It's better than Broderick Martin, 1,000%. Could be better than a Lee McNeil. But putting them all together, if he stays on the field, I think that this defensive line will go some places. I do. Yeah, the injuries in the age, it's a real thing. I can't believe Joe Flacco signed with the Colts. Where's Justin Fields going to go now? Is he going to be stuck a Bear through a miserable, season in 2024? Because nobody wants him. Like, absolutely nobody wants this kid. Wow. I don't doubt that there's sturgeon out there. I mean, I've seen all the pictures. It just must be a winter lake, up there, J Mommy. I didn't see a fish, man. Not one. And I got every bait and rod you can think of. It's like I threw the whole tackle box in the lake. And then by the end of the trip, I was about to literally throw the whole tackle box in the lake. It was that bad, but it was still a good time. There's nothing that beats, middle, lower peninsula. There's nothing better. And you're up far enough to where, you can have a good time. All right, let's open up the phone lines. I see Donovan Amos. He needs to talk. And Peter Braley, I haven't seen you in here in a minute. I don't know if you're still around, but give me just a second. I'll get it open. Oh, we'll pause that. Let me charge my phone. Give me 5 minutes on this fast charger and we'll get it charged up. We could do a test. I'm going to say we could try and do it through the computer and see if people can actually hear us. see here. Okay. If
Jameson makes the catch, touchdown Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, number 9.
What are you saying there, Dat Dude B? So did you hear that Albert Greer reported that the top 11 guys signed 2 years ago, 7 got cut, 4 had to take pay cuts. Free agency can be dangerous cap-wise if not very selective. Brad needs to sign one big one. So the top 11 contracts, is that what it means? The top 11 contracts that were taken in 2021 free agency or 2022 free agency? El Torre, yeah, I've done salmon fishing a long time ago. Missed it. I haven't done it in a long time, but yeah, I love any type of fishing, man. Really love deep sea fishing down in Punta Cana or Mexico. Last year I caught a mako, or 2 years ago caught a mako, and what would have been a world record Spanish barracuda, but we didn't know, and there was a little bit of a language barrier, and we left. And then next thing you know, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That was a record. We tried to go back to get measurements, and I already gave all the fish to the families, so it was gone. I got pictures, man. It was taller than me. And the world record was like 44 inches or 45 inches or something like that. This thing was like at least 73 inches. It was insane. They called it a dinosaur. But anyway, if someone wants to try to call, we can try to do it through the computer. We'll see if it works. If you guys can't hear the caller, just let us know. We'll hang up, and then the phone should be charged here in just a few minutes. I knew I forgot to do something today. So 313-312-0348. I'll put it in the chat. All right, so we do got a caller. Let's see if it works. All right, this is Will with Rockdown Podcast. Can you hear me? All right, can you guys hear him? Is this Donovan? All right, Donovan, give me 1 second. Let's just make sure everybody can hear you, okay? Oh, and they can't hear you. All right, call back in 2 minutes. All right, see ya. All right, sounds like we've got Josh Reynolds re-signed. Let me pull up the old Twitter here. Man, I got to pull up my receipts too while we're at it, right? And I only keep track of that stuff because I want people to know that they can trust a little bit, right? Trust is earned. It's not given. Got to build it. I don't see anything yet. Where'd you guys see it? Uh-oh, what is this about Reader? Hmm. 1 year, $6 million. That's not terrible. Harley Fife, do I see the Lions doing any trades? If we're talking the draft, I see them trading for sure. I won't know if it's back or forward until we get closer. And Derek's not going to like that re-signing. All right, so let's see. Let me pull this up here on Twitter. Jeffrey Collum says, sources tell me that Josh Reynolds is re-signing with the Lions in a 1-year deal worth around $6 million. Sorry about that. Fake account. Okay. Apparently that's a fake account. And whoever's doing this fake account stuff, man, they need to stop. They've been doing it all week. I don't see anything yet. I don't see anything from Garofolo. I don't see anything from Ian. And we'll check Tom Pelissero. I don't see anything from him either. Looks like Sheldon Rankins just came off the board as of 30 minutes ago. He's signing a 2-year, $26 million deal with the Bengals. So I think that pretty much sums up the fact that DJ Reader is probably going to sign with the Lions. He's not going to be going back to the Bengals. But here's my question. Like, wouldn't we have rather had Rankins? You tell me the Lions couldn't have made that same deal? Amos, one more minute, Amos. All right. Now you can call Amos. Just got to get the phone turned back on. One second. All right. So what'd you guys say? That was a fake account? Yeah, that's what I saw too. But I would still expect it. We'll see if it happens. All right, Amos, we're good to go now. Got 12% battery life. I think we'll be fine. All right. This is Donovan.
Yep.
All right, Donovan. How you doing, man? You're on Rockdown Podcast Network. Appreciate you calling in. Sorry about the little delay there. So what's on your mind tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, so DJ Reader and Arik Armstead, they'll be good signings, but they still got a plan, and especially if you get a guy from the draft, but they still got a plan around the injuries that they have, and they still got to have a backup plan in case they get injured and stuff like that. They can't just rely on them.
Yeah, I think that's 1,000% facts, man. So what you're saying is, even if we bring in Reader, they still have to have a plan. And right now, the only plan is Broderick Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a real good sign to help Broderick Martin too, because that's kind of like the player that Broderick Martin want to be. So.
Yeah, I think that would be a great vet, opportunity. It's sometimes, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, right? And it's, if you know DJ Reader, it's how he can teach you some of the things that maybe you haven't learned yet from Aleem McNeil. And to be honest with you, Aleem McNeil might pick up a few things from DJ Reader, and DJ Reader might pick up a few things from Aleem McNeil. And overall, they'll get better, together. So I think that's spot on, man. I really do. What do you think about James Houston being tendered, coming back? Do you have any big expectations for him this season?
Not really.
No, you're not that high on James Houston?
I don't know what his injury, what he gonna look like next season. Is he gonna play? You got to find out.
Well, I think he's fine. I mean, he was good to go towards the end of the season, but we never did really get to see if he's got the bend back, because the bend is what he's known for.
Yeah.
And you get to bend on that ankle. it's just going to take a minute to feel comfortable again, you know?
Yeah, and Davenport, I had a real problem with us taking Davenport on day one of free agency when all the cheap second tier free agent, the cheap second tier edge rushers was flying off the market.
Yeah.
I thought Davenport was a sign that we should have made today or yesterday for depth. I don't think when the market is going crazy like that, I don't think you need to be taking Davenport day one and stuff like that.
So on the second tier market, I mean, you still have Mike Dana and Derek Noddy available from the Chiefs.
I really wanted Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah, I mean, he's
$6 could have went towards.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That $6 million could have went towards him, and he signed with the Vikings.
Yeah,
I feel like that. Go ahead. I'm ready.
No, you're good. I was just saying that we're letting our competition get better. And the thing about Van Ginkel is he had one really good season. And that maybe scared Brad Holmes off that, he doesn't have a body of work behind him. But does Marcus Davenport have a body of work behind him? He doesn't. So it's confusing, I mean, different positions, but it's confusing.
Yeah. And I got a problem with these 1-year deals, man. They need to extend, what's the corner that we traded for?
So we got Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson, but we traded for Davis.
Yep, they should extend Davis. If we got to put you on a 1-year deal, I feel like you don't need to come.
So Davis did say today that he is willing to take an extension. Like he's willing to stay here longer. I was a little surprised by his press conference today. We watched some of it live on the earlier show this afternoon, and it just seemed off-putting to me a little bit, but putting himself on the spot there saying check the tape, and then he couldn't refer to a game. That
was actually very
that was weird.
Very dumb question.
Yeah. Well, what do you think overall, though? I mean, do you think that we got better? I mean, compared to what we had between Chase Lucas, Jerry Jacobs, Kendall Vildor, Khalil Dorsey, do you think we got better?
In the secondary, but the secondary means nothing if you don't put together a good pass rush. Like the market, it's crazy how the market went that crazy on day one. I thought Brad should have hit the ground running. He should have had everything, had his little list out, and he should have hit the ground running.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody went off the market.
It was fast and furious, man. That was probably the fastest tampering period I've seen in a while, and I don't know if it's just because I paid more attention to it this year, but I don't remember that much of a flurry on day one.
Yeah. Now we got scraps to work with.
I mean, there's still some good players out there.
Very limited.
Yeah, so I mean, we still have Chase Young, Clyde Campbell, Jadeveon Clowney, Tyus Bowser, Emmanuel Ogba, which is someone that, I shouted out a few weeks ago when the Dolphins released him. Arik Armstead, DJ Reader's off the board. Or I'm sorry, Sheldon Rankins is off the board, and then DJ Reader. So out of any of those...
Sheldon Rankins sounded like the guy we should have signed. He had 6 sacks.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his stats. But DJ Reader can't help other people get sacks because I guess he's going to require a double team, and that'll get more sacks for Hutch. We need some athleticism on this defensive line. We ain't got no speed.
The fastest guy we have right now on the defensive line is Aiden Hutchinson. And he's pretty quick, but we don't.
He be with us sometimes.
Yeah, he's sometimes he runs himself, out of position at times, and I want to see somebody have confidence to get in, and the confidence to be able to sit back in his own little zone there, and not let anything get past him. But the guys across the line, up and down the line, I mean, Aleem McNeil suffered an injury last year. Broderick Martin didn't do anything to help us last year. Josh Paschal had injuries, was up and down, really didn't do much last year. It was kind of a paltry season for our defensive line. And I think that's why, Myself, I wanted the interior defensive line to be addressed. Others wanted the defensive ends. And we got Marcus Davenport right now. So we've got a lot to look forward to see if he's somebody that's going to work out, Anybody else you're looking forward to?
If you can get DJ Reader and Arik and Mike Dana, they need all the help they can get. If Mike Dana there, I think you should try to work something out with him.
I don't think that Mike Dana's going to take a huge contract. I think that he's probably, only $7 million a year tops. And I think that's a bargain for what he's able to do. I think that Mike Dana could probably give us a little bit better of an option on the inside than, dare I say, DJ Reader. I think that he's a little bit more athletic.
Yep. 6.5 or whatever they paid Davenport is crazy. He getting paid more than with Arik. His name was Arik Robertson. He getting paid more than the corner we just signed.
Yeah, the DB.
The corner got more production.
Yeah. I'm good with Robertson. I like that signing. I know he's small and I don't really care for the smaller corners. But again, when you're already in the league and you're doing well, that you can kind of forget about the size. You know what I mean? So Mike Dana, this last season, he had played in 16 games. He had 6.5 sacks through the middle. And look, I think that you snag this guy. I think that he's available, comes from Michigan. He was a round 5 pick in 2020. 6'2", 257 pounds. I think this kid's got, better athleticism, whether it's on the edge or, interior edge. He kind of played that hybrid role a little bit. They moved him around in Kansas City. But he can work the edge. And I think that it would be a smart pickup to have one more guy on the edge. But I think that the Lions are going to grab that last guy in the draft.
Yeah, we leaving a lot up to the draft right now. We need a left guard. We need a wide receiver. I don't know what the situation is at safety. They probably need to draft it on the cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They need help on the D line.
Yeah, there's still quite a few holes to fill here. Go ahead.
He said he filled the needs through free agency and he draft a talent in the draft, so it wouldn't make no sense for him not to get what we need in free agency, so we can just do whatever we want in the draft.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. I mean, I'm seeing that he's grabbing the needs in free agency and he's targeting the best player available on his big board in the draft. And I mean, that's just 2 years now in a row. That's kind of what's happening. But we didn't get those top tier selections. We didn't even get the middle second tier or the top second tier selections. We kind of got the scraps, like you said.
Yeah, and he said he wanted players that play in December would go out and get Marcus Davenport, whatever his name is.
Right. So Jive Turkey made a comment in here, said that they will use Davenport as a situational third down pass rusher. Good when healthy, so situational use will keep him healthy. If Davenport comes in as a rotational piece between him and Houston, let's say Betts makes the team, you still have Kaminsky there. How would you feel about 6 sacks as a rotational player?
Yeah, that's straight. We need to really get right though. Marcus Davenport is a goofball of a signing on day one.
Yeah, it was.
Especially when we missing out on all these guys, and that was insane to me.
Yeah. Rishab says, is DJ Reader a pass rusher? I thought he was mostly used for run defense. And the answer to that is the latter, more run defense. DJ Reader, I think he only had 2 sacks last year. I don't remember now.
1.5.
1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's only got 1 according to one site, but 1.5 it is. So he's a run stuffer. He's a guy that's going to take up double teams. which is what we need. I
Yeah.
mean, we need somebody to create pressure. If him and Ali McNeil, take up the two guards in the center, that leaves Aiden Hutchinson 1-on-1 or 1-on-1.5 with a chip, or the tight end's going to have to come down and double, which would leave the other end wide open, which would be Davenport. And that's where Davenport needs to have the speed, or James Houston needs to have the speed to be able to get off the edge to get to the quarterback. I can see what he's trying to do, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, DJ Reader, that'll be a really good signing. They need to try to get him on a 3-year deal. That's probably why people don't want to come. He keep on offering 1-year deals.
Yeah.
These people are 30. They want some stability.
Right. Well, I'd tell you this, man. If I even had one of these guys' contracts, I would have stability the rest of my life. Some of these guys just don't know how to manage money.
Yeah, they definitely got to plan around them injuries, though.
Yeah, they do. We've got to have the depth of the future.
You never know. We get a guy from the draft, he get injured because he's not used to playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it seems like there's always a big learning curve coming from college, and they never get a day off. It's like they go from, depending on what school, they go from the bowl game, training for the combine, they get out of the combine, they get selected, and then they go from the combine to the draft, or the pro days, then the draft, then after the draft, they're right in mini camp a week later, rookie mini camp. So they don't really get any time off, and that's when players get injured, is when they're overworked. And
they gotta prepare for the guy. They gotta train for the combine to do good at the combine.
That's right.
But look at the Texans, man. They got Daniil Hunter, and Nico Autry. Who else?
Will Anderson.
Tyler. Will Anderson, and they trying to get Arik.
Yeah.
How these teams get all this cap space all of a sudden?
Well, I don't think that the Texans really had an issue with cap space this year. What's crazy, and I don't know if they've had everybody signed yet. I don't know if it's hit all their cap, today.
They got a rookie quarterback too.
But $21 million is what they have left.
Yeah, and they trying to spend all of it, huh?
I just don't know how they had so much money. I mean, I'd have to look. But if they still have,
it's like
they started the offseason with $70 million, which is what the Lions were projected to have. And then because Aiden Hutchinson, and some of the other guys, that went to the Pro Bowl.
Jameson makes the catch. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, number 9.
Because a few people went to the Pro Bowls and won, additional awards. There was like $12 million in bonuses that came off of this year's cap to pay those guys. I never knew. I never knew that when you go to the Pro Bowl, you got a bonus from your team. And if you go to more than one Pro Bowl, or depending on when you go to the Pro Bowl, it's even more money. So like Sam Laporta got like a $2 million bump. I think Hutchinson got like a $10 million bump. So it's crazy. That money should be paid from the NFL, not the teams, in my opinion. So we went from 70 million. Go ahead.
It's like the NFL tagged these players to these teams and made us kind of worse on purpose. Ain't nobody on the market? Come on, huh?
Right. Well, let's just hope we have a good couple of days here. I think the Lions still have some work to do, and I think that they're going to get some work done. I think that there's plenty of good players left on the market, and we'll see what happens. Cornerbacks, we still got Kendall Fuller out there, Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, my guy Steven Nelson. I still can't believe that Steven Nelson is sitting out there not taken. We'll see what happens, over the next few days, but I don't think that the Lions are done. You still got Quandre Diggs, to back up the safety. Jamal Adams.
No, I'm not looking at. I don't want Quandre Diggs.
No,
he was trash for us. He was trash for us, but he had to play right for the Seahawks. If they was gonna cut his ass.
That's right. Yeah, I thought he was okay, but you still got Justin Simmons out there. There's plenty of good players still available that are on the second tier market. they can help this team win.
Yeah.
I believe it. They can help it.
They need to hurry up and get them so they go off the market.
That's right. So,
Brad needs to really get right.
Well, do us a favor. Give Brad a call tomorrow. Let him know that he's got to get it done because we got to win to the Super Bowl this year. We got to get that Lombardi in Detroit.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right, bro.
You have a good night, man.
You too.
Thanks. So Donovan Amos, man, he's not happy. He said that we signed scrubs day one instead of signing top tier players. Marcus Davenport should have been a day 2 or a day 3 signing, not a day 1. You know, I tend to agree with that. I don't think that Marcus Davenport would have been off the board. All right, we got another caller. Let's see who we got.
I don't think that Marcus Davenport would have been off the board.
Oh. All right.
Hello?
You with me? This is Will with Rocktown Detroit Lions.
Oh, hi, how's it going? This is Pete.
Hey, Pete. Yeah, we had some background noise there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I had to mute. I had to mute YouTube, so
there you go.
Sorry about that.
No worries, my man. So what's on your mind tonight?
I've had enough. I've enough of a lot of things right now, but we're going to start with this first. I watch you. I like you. I think you do a good job, and you can see the forest through the trees. And I watch to a lesser extent. I watch Derek. Now, I'm going to say something bad about him, but I'm also going to say something I like about him. I don't like a lot of his videos. I think they're kind of clickbait clownish, but I respect the fact that he wants to win a Super Bowl so bad he can taste blood in his mouth when he talks about it. That's what I feel when he talks.
He's passionate.
And I also watch on you. Yeah, I also watch 97.1 The Ticket on YouTube because I'm too far north. I'm in Central Michigan, and I just miss the radio broadcast. So that's where, and I listen.
Hold on one second. So I have not listened to 91 or 97.1 in a long time, but I heard there was some pretty hot fire breathing coming out of that channel the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's basically I watch Valente and Rico because I like those guys.
Yeah.
Just like you, they see the forest through the trees. They're not necessarily Lions fans, but they understand.
They're not even Lions fans?
No, Mike's a Giants fan. He's from New York, but he's been here 20 years. Rico is a Niners fan. The guys in the booth, one's a Steelers fan, one's a Lions fan. And I like that. I like that because, again, forest through the trees.
Right.
And I've listened to another YouTuber, Lions YouTuber, but they're starting to skate on thin ice with me. I've about had enough of the foolishness. All right. With that being said, the moves the Lions are making are ticking me off, especially with the Danielle Hunter thing, because the moves that we're making are not indicative of a team that was 30 minutes away from the Super Bowl.
Bingo.
It's not.
Bingo.
And that's my problem right now. Now, I wanted Danielle Hunter 2 years at 49. He's off the books when we need to sign Hutch and a bunch of other people. Okay. And you can get something out of him. Okay. Now the problem, like you said, there was a lot of heat with 97-1, and it was Valente. He said, I think Davis is good, but he's not great. And everybody ripped him. The fan base needs to do two things. Now, not the guys in your chat, because I've watched you for a while, and there's good fans in here. They're smart, but
the best.
But he said that, and somebody called up and called him a racist.
Oh my!
Okay, so the fan base needs to grow up and they need to smarten up. That's one of the problems. To me, but well, he said I thought it was a good trade, but it's not a great trade, and that's true. Davis is kind of on the decline the last 3 years. But he's our number one. Is he the best number one? Probably not. If we could have got Snead, I would have took Snead in a second. Number one lockdown corner. But we people in the fan base need to stop hating on people who criticize Brad Holmes. I like Brad Holmes. I think he's doing good. He doesn't do good in free agents and trades. But I can criticize him and still like the guy. And a lot of people need to start growing up on that stuff. Okay, I understand he got us something that no other people could, especially the Patriot clowns. And that kind of bugged me. So to me, I like our secondary. I think Deshae Townsend is going to earn his paycheck this year. I think that training staff, who is really good. I saw that one where you did the thing on the training staff, and they're really good. They're going to earn their paycheck. The defensive line right now is not good enough. Period. There isn't a discussion about it. It's not good enough. Okay, and I wish people would quit saying Marcus Davenport's an upgrade, because he's not. Not until he gets in there and plays. Now, if, like you said, the last caller, if he comes in situational and gets sacks, yeah, that's a great upgrade. But you got to get him on the field first.
Exactly.
And I believe he come in because of Dan Campbell, because Dan Campbell was down there coaching at the time, I believe. Now, if Williams, who is a really good defensive line, I assume he's going to elevate the play of these guys. If he can squeeze blood out of a stone with Davenport, he might be able to get him back into that 9-sack year he had with the Saints. I don't know. But these deals are kind of wishy-washy. I don't really care for them. You know, if Brad's going to go through the draft, then why are you giving up a third round? That's another offensive lineman.
Yep. That I think that was my biggest gripe with that whole deal with Davis is let me comment on a couple of these things here. So my biggest gripe with the Davis thing is if Brad Holmes tells us every year that he's going to build through the draft, and then you trade away a third round pick that has been your sweet spot just about every year, you know, you've done something there. Now, last year was Broderick Martin. I don't think a lot of people were happy with that, but you also grabbed Hendon Hooker, and that was a phenomenal pickup. So for what he's been able to do these last 3 seasons, and I kind of went through it, you know, what has he done versus the previous regime? He's knocked it out the park. But
for the most part,
knocked it out the park in the draft, but to give up a third round pick when we're in a pivotal transition of we are right there and we need a few more guys that need to come to this team through the draft to get them ready for next season, not so much this season, but next season, because maybe 1 or 2 of them will be impact players this year, but they're going to be even much better next year. You've got to get them on the roster now so that they're ready to grow and you keep your cap healthy and everything, you know, and so on and so forward. But my biggest gripe was you gave up a third round pick for a guy that's not even a true lockdown corner. He's been in a zone scheme in Tampa Bay. Yep. He was supposed to be a man-on-man corner coming out of college. So we really don't know what we have. But the biggest thing, he doesn't stay on the field. He doesn't. He's missed 23% of the games. Now, listening to him talk today, look, sounds cool, very laid back, real chill, probably a good locker room guy, probably well liked. Great. Boxes checked. Does he have the size? Yup. Box checked. Does he have decent speed? Yup. Box checked. Is he aggressive? Absolutely. Over aggressive at times, he can be. Can he be an upgrade over what we have? Yes, if he's on the field. If he's on the field.
Yeah. And we're all forgetting something about about Davis too. Who was his quarterbacks he played against 6 times a year? Bryce Young, Derek Carr, Jamison Winston, Taysom Hill. I'm forgetting the other one now down there. It's the Panthers. Oh, the Falcons, and they're two joke quarterbacks.
Oh,
that's not a great
Ritter.
Body of work right here. Yeah, that's Riddler and the other guy. Is it Tyler Henneke?
Might have been.
I think he was.
Might have been.
That's not a great sample size here. Those 2 teams twice a season. That's not great.
So here's one exercise that I did the other day when I looked at Davis, because he had his best season in 2020 when they won the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. That was his best statistical season. So I'm like, all right, let me go back and look and see who they played. So they played the Saints, obviously the Panthers, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Bears, the Packers, the Lions. I believe they played the Lions that year, the Raiders, the Giants, the Rams. That was the year that the Rams didn't win the Super Bowl that year. That was the year before Stafford. They won Chiefs, the Falcons, and in the wild card, they played the Commanders. The divisional round, they played the Saints. The conference championship, they played the Packers. Super Bowl, they played the Chiefs and won. So I went back and looked at this and like, okay, who did they play? So they played the NFC North that year, their full slate of 8 games. And he had decent competition that year. But I haven't gone through to analyze every single game on what wide receivers he went up against. So that's going to tell me a little bit more about him once I get through it. Like, go through some of his tape. And like he said, check the tape. So you know what, Mr. Davis, I'm checking the tape, buddy. And I'm going to get back to everybody here in a couple of weeks with what I find.
And also, too, let's remember this. He's going to have to line up against Justin, CeeDee, Debo, and DJ Moore and whatever the Packers guys are. And can he do better than what happened to us last year? I hope so. I surely hope so. But, man, we need a better pass rush for these guys. That's what's going to help them out the most, a better pass rush. Is it Armstrong? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of BJ. Is it DJ or BJ Reader?
DJ Reader. Derek James Reader. Yep. Okay.
I'm not a huge fan because he tore both his quads, and that's an injury. That's one of the bad injuries that take a long time to heal and get better from.
Yeah,
and
it's just like an ACL.
Yeah, like I said, these moves are not indicative of a team that's 30 minutes away from the Super Bowl. We're gearing up for 9-8 instead of 12-15. And I'm going to tell you right now, when Brad Holmes says sustainability, you know what I think? I think Packers. The Packers were good for 15 years, won the division, and you know what? They didn't do crap in the playoffs. They won one Super Bowl. I think Rodgers won one and lost one.
Yep.
And they beat up and this division. And I'm not 100% sure that that this is right, but yeah, they don't hang division banners because they had a Hall of Fame quarterback, and they should be in the championship and the Super Bowl game every year. And the division, I think, at that time wasn't really all that great through that, but I might be wrong about that.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I mean, I think you're spot on. The division was crap during the Aaron Rodgers. You had maybe a couple years where the Bears were good, like when Cutler was there. You had a couple years with Stafford was there that was decent. The Vikings had a few good seasons, but outside of that, the NFC North was a cakewalk for the Packers. And the Packers don't hang banners. And if I remember the conversation correctly, it's because they have too many.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to beat up on bad teams. Just look at the Dallas Cowgirl frauds last year. They potatoed a lot of bad teams. They couldn't beat anybody good. They beat us on a BS ref call, and they beat the Eagles, a backsliding Eagles team. Other than that, they didn't beat anybody. They got potatoed by the Niners. They got potatoed by the Bills. They got beat by the Dolphins. I think the Eagles again, and they got beat by another good team. I forget who it was. So I don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys. I don't want to be the Dallas Cowgirl frauds or the scummy Green Bay Packers. I want to win a Super Bowl. You want to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. This freaking fan base wants to win a Super Bowl. In the immortal words of John Boyd in Varsity Blues, Brad, go fetch us a championship. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, let me comment real quick on the fan base. So, the hard thing about being a Lions fan is, and Derek's right about this part, is we are kind of fed up to a point. Like, we have gone through decades of pain and agony, and every year where our Super Bowl is, the draft, and we're always looking forward to the draft starting, December 1st. And so to that point, yes, it's hard to be critical, but because the fan base finally realized some success, and Brad is doing so good, and that's why I painted the picture the other day of what he's done compared to the other regime before him. But at the same time, if you don't have checks and if you don't have checks and balances, and if you don't have people that are digging in and trying to find the information and relay the information and kind of call it out, I mean, then what are you doing? You're just going to let him reside where he is, making the decisions that he is, and maybe some of them aren't the greatest decisions. But here's the biggest thing: everybody is allowed to have their own opinion. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. You don't have to slam people for it. You don't have to be negative, and this is not directed towards you, Peter. It's to everybody out there. No. It's, everyone has good opinions. Every one of us is a fan. Not everybody comes on YouTube to voice it. And it takes a lot of mustard in the cojones to do that. And what, like Derek's been able to build is incredible. And to have the fan base that he has is amazing. So I appreciate, his takes just like anybody else's, but
I respect him. I just don't like some of his videos. Yeah. To
criticize the host. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, we're all going to get criticized because we're the ones voicing our opinion. For me, I've got really thick skin. I hardly let people get underneath me. But it's going to happen. I mean, people are just, they are who they are.
I'm 51 years old, so I lived through all of it. I'm a Lions fan my whole life. Early on, when I was younger, I was a Niners fan because Jerry Rice, I loved that offense. I thought it was poetry in motion. And here's a tough one to swallow. I've been a Red Sox fan for 37 years. You know how much garbage I take in Michigan for being a Red Sox fan? And I'll say this. Mike Valenti brought up a great point about Brad Holmes. He goes, who do you think this guy is? Theo Epstein? And that's my guy. He does no wrong in my book after bringing me 2 Red Sox World Series titles. And you can make the argument about the third one. And he brought it up, and I had this point about Theo. When he first started with us, I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he grabbing Kevin Millar, Bill Miller, and all these guys that are hitting kind of crummy? But you put them in there, it weren't. But this right here about Theo is the most important fact that Brad Holmes needs to understand. When Theo went to the Cubs, he was team president. The fans go, "Oh, we're going to win a World Series next year." He said, "No, we're not. We got an 8-year plan. We're going to stick to it." Year 5, he pivoted. He said, "We got enough now. We're ahead of schedule. We're going to go sign some free agents and make some trades." And that year 5, he won a World Series for the Cubs. So by putting the people out there to succeed.
Right. And the thing that, I'll tell you about Theo Epstein is I've already made the analogy to Brad Holmes being the money ball of football. And that is probably one of my favorite top 10 movies of all time is Moneyball. The second one is Draft Day. And I got to tell you what Brad is doing is different. And that's why it's hard to defend him to some people because they may not see, some of the things that maybe others see what he's trying to do. And they'll come around eventually when they see the wins. And I think that's all it takes is the wins. And once they see that we're actually headed the right direction, they'll have a different mindset, on what Brad Holmes is trying to do. Do we agree with the choices this week? Probably not. Am I going to hold out hope because I'm a Lions fan? 1,000%. But the realistic side of me says, I think it's going to be a tougher season than what we are expecting.
Oh yeah, we're playing those 3 extra games. We're playing number 1 now. We're number 1. We got the number 1. We're playing number 1s on those extra 3 games.
Yeah.
But my point about Theo in Chicago is he knew when to pivot. Brad's got to know when to pivot because the teams that we're going to have to fight through on the NFC side to get to the Super Bowl are got a lot of look at the Phillies. Or not the Phillies, the Eagles. Look at the Eagles. That's ridiculous. 4 or 5 guys they signed, and Niners are making moves. Packers are grabbing the safety. We know why you grabbed that safety is because of us and our passing.
Hold on 1 second. So can everybody in the chat still hear Peter? Can everybody still hear him? I had to switch it to Bluetooth, so I'm wondering if you guys if they can still hear it in stereo mode or if it went to something else. All right, you guys still got him? Okay, good. Keep going, Peter.
Yeah, and let's. So I forget we play Houston this year. Don't forget that's the division we play. So we see Daniil Hunter again, guy we should have picked up.
Yeah.
So I don't. Is that the AFC South? In the AFC South?
The Houston?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget the two divisions we're playing.
Hold on here. I've already forgotten to. I haven't even looked hard at the schedule. So let's see here. AFC South is the Houston Texans. Yes.
Okay, so we got the South, and then I forget what.
So we've got the Texans, the Jaguars, Colts, and Titans, and the Titans are getting good too.
Yeah, these aren't joke teams. None of those teams are jokes. They're all fairly good. And if Anthony Richardson can play, then Flacco will back him up. I bet you Flacco probably starts early so they can get Richardson healthy, but they got a young quarterback too. I mean, this is not going to be easy this year.
So here's our away schedule. We got obviously Packers, Vikings, Bears, Cardinals, Texans, Colts, 49ers, Cowboys. Yes, we're back in bang bang Niner game again, and the Cowboys again.
Hold a second. How in the heck do we go to Dallas again? That's a bunch of garbage too. Yep. They need to come see us.
Right.
Maybe we can get a ref in there that actually knows how to ref and it's got a pair of guts that can make a call or two or something.
Well, I hope it's a different result this year. And what I really hope is that is a really late game in the season or a really early game in the season, that game will be meaningless. I think that if it's a really late game, that we've already locked it up. If not, it's got to be a really early game so that we can get through it and not dwell on it, because it's going to be a very difficult game for our players to go back to Dallas in that same situation all over again, and it's going to be tough.
Well, let's hope they go in a measured, mad way, seeking vengeance.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got Skipper back. Nice. We got Skipper back, and we got Taylor Decker in there. So, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet the first play someone's going to report?
Yeah. Was it the Buccaneers playoff game last year that they reported and the crowd cheered?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It went nuts. I couldn't hear that entire game anyway, but my ears were shot.
Yeah. But yeah, let's not forget, this is a tougher schedule this year.
It is 1,000%.
I mean, we got 3 first place teams we got to play instead of 2 second place. The Packers are going in at the number 2 second place, and I think they might drift down a little bit, maybe. The Bears don't know what they're doing. That's the problem with the Bears. They just don't know what they're doing.
Well, the crazy
they're signing a bunch of guys.
Yeah, the Bears are out of control. You know what I said this last year is I said the Lions were going to go 15-2. That was my early projection.
Made it.
No, this year, this upcoming year, 24.
Oh.
Last year I said it too. But this year I said 15-2, and that was expecting Brad Holmes to do something different in free agency. So now I'm kind of biting my tongue a little bit till we see the rest through the draft. All right.
Well, look, we
Go ahead.
need a safety, 2 more corners, a defensive tackle, defensive end, a guard, a wide receiver, maybe a tight end. Maybe they just hope that Mitchell and Brock Wright stays healthy. It's weird that Mitchell keeps getting injured, how little he plays.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we can make that through the draft. He's going to have to do something. I think we have 4 corners, or do we still have Stephon Gilmore for the number 5 spot? I don't really know. 4 corners is not going to be enough.
All right, you're talking about the Lions depth chart right now. So we have Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis, Cam Sutton, and Gilmore.
Okay, and Mosley. So we got 5 then.
Mosley, yeah, but who knows when he's coming back. So we've got 5. So we still need probably 4 more just to hit camp with, if not 5 or 6 more to hit camp with. But I would say that the Lions are probably going to carry 6th on the depth chart this year because of Mosley.
Yeah.
And they'll probably carry
did that last year.
Yeah, and they're going to carry a couple extra probably on the practice squad is what I'm hoping. We'll see what happens, but I think that we're going to get at least 1 in the draft, if not, 1 in the draft and a couple in UDFAs or something.
Yeah, I don't know what we're getting. I don't think there's going to be a corner that they want at 29. So they're going to. It'll be interesting.
A lot of people
are working the Darius Robinson into 29 now. Even though when you did your first math draft, I called in and said we could go with him, but that second pick's got to come off of the offensive line, unless there's something that drops there that we look at and we go, well, we got to take this guy. But we're gonna need. That's what bugs me in the 3rd round is we had 2 third rounds. We could have got 2 offensive linemen. Then okay if they're available.
Well, I'm telling you right now, we're not picking at 29. We're not.
We're trading now.
Yeah, we're trading out. We're gonna have to because he just gave up.
Makes the catch. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Number 9.
Second, and then try to milk somebody dry on draft picks. I don't know. So.
Well, Arizona would be the team. Arizona would be the team. But all right, Peter, I'm going to get to a couple more callers here. I appreciate you calling in, man. And next time you call, man, keep us up to date here on 97.1. I'm going to have to start listening to them a little bit because the fire breathing that I heard that came out of there this week, I never had a chance to go and listen, but I'm going to have to now.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you one more thing. During the last year's trade, because like I said, I watch it on YouTube, and after the trade thing was over, Valente picked his chair up and slammed it down on the ground. He was that mad we didn't get Sweat or Young. So I like him. I like that fieriness.
Oh, that's funny. So, well, I try not to show that side of me, but during the games, I get pretty wild.
Oh, dude, I watch the games on my by myself because I curse at the TV in a good way and in a bad way. Like when in Dallas, when Goff was looking left, and then he was looking right, and he looked up. I went, oh my God, he's gonna throw it to J-Mo. Beep, 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 catch it, J-Mo, catch it. He catches. I was like, run, beep, beep, run. I was stoked for that.
Yeah, that was.
I like him. I think he's going to be a great addition.
He's going to have to step up.
Cleaned it up.
Yeah, he's going to have to step up big this year. All right, Peter, you take care, man. I appreciate you calling tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you. All right, so that was the infamous Peter Braley, and a couple of comments, quickly. Opinions matter, right? Everybody has one. The adage, I won't say it, but there's a lot of content creators in this space, and there's enough room for more. There always is. And I don't care who says what about what or how they feel. Some of us have a different way of telling people who we are or what we think or what our opinions are or how we feel. We all have a different delivery method. Some of us are a little bit more lively than others. But what I will say, like about Derek is the dude does an excellent job and has such passion on his sleeve, like some of you have said. And I don't ever want him to change doing what he's doing. Hey, this is Will with Rockdown Detroit Lions. Who do I got on the line?
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. How you doing tonight, man?
Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So what's on your mind about this week's free agency polls? What do you think about Davenport and Davis and Robertson?
To me, it sucks. Let me tell you. Let me start off the first thing. I enjoy your show. I love your show. You know about sports. You know inside and out. You play football. I play high school football in Detroit, Southeastern. Eric, he know his sport. I love both of your shows.
Appreciate it, man.
Try to listen to it. But anyway, back to the Lions. I'm on the side of Derek. I was just listening to the caller. He was talking about Brad Holmes. This guy, and listen to me for about 3 minutes. This guy is horrible. Just because he drafted a few good people last year, and it turned out to be good. This guy, I don't think he knows how to work out contracts and be a good GM. He's a good scout and looking out for a good player. He got eye for talent. He's good for that. But this dude is going to mess the Lions up. Just like he did in the NFC playoff championship game. Everybody pointing fingers at Josh Reynolds. Just because he dropped the football. Aaron Glenn. Dan Campbell. No, everybody pointing fingers at them. They had the lead. They had a 17-point lead. They lost it because of what? The defense. The Lions suck. Brad Holmes didn't try to do anything to try to fix it.
Jameson makes the catch. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, number 9.
He knew that we needed a line. But no, he didn't, and he didn't. He just overlooked it. Then he went, hey, wait, Bugs. Then Bruce Irvin, he knew what we need. We need all the help we can get. He's the fault that you lost the NFC championship game. The defense sucked. If you drop the ball, no matter what they did, turnover, it could be interceptions. You had the lead. You couldn't hold him to 3 points, 6 points. He came back on third unanswered points. I mean, that was ridiculous. They still ain't trying to fix the defensive line. I mean, come on now. And you think you're going to go to the Super Bowl with this team the way it looks right now? Not that you say you got to see what he do with the later on. But right now, they're not going to no Super Bowl. And all these people thinking Brad Holmes is a genius. I'm going to see what I'm waiting on Brad Holmes to do this. I'm going to wait on him to do. I trust in Brad. You trust him. I knew he wasn't going to do anything. I told Derek that before the season started. I said, watch and see, Derek. He ain't going to do it. Y'all keep fixing this guy. He be telling y'all what he's going to do. He said, we're going to approach this thing like he always approached it. And how was he always approached it? He didn't do nothing. He's telling you. And people keep thinking they go, Hunter, we're going to get this. They available. This person is available. He's not going to do that. He's not that type of a GM. And everybody thinks this GM is great. He's not like the Kansas Cities of the world, the Baltimore Ravens of the world. Those teams got good GMs. They look after their team.
Hold on 1 second for me, Bruce. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear what the caller's saying or no? I wonder if this Bluetooth thing is not working. Hold on 1 second for me. Oh, you do got them? Okay. I'm going to plug you in. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to get it off my chest because it burns me up. I hear people say, and like you said, they got the right to feel however they want to feel. But Brad Holmes is not going to do anything. You see, he didn't get nothing. Like I told my friend, he gets tired of me because I'm telling the truth. I say, you just wishful thinking. I said, he's not like that. Kansas City's GM, Baltimore GM, they look after their team. Right at the trade deadline, what do you see them teams doing? They're going to get some pieces to help them so they can try to make it to the Super Bowl. Brad Holmes, what did he do? Nothing.
So
he didn't care about his team.
So Bruce, I think he cares about the team. Let me ask you this though.
Well, if he didn't, how come he didn't do something about it then?
Well, no, I want to pose a question for you. So this team, this franchise, you've been around a while, so you know that we've been through it and then some. Been the worst team in the league for decades. Right there with the Browns.
Right.
And man, I already got mosquitoes in here. It's not even spring yet. So worst team in the league, for decades, laughing stock of the league, no money, never really having an opportunity to do anything that was right for the team. He inherits $65 million in dead cap in year one. There's nothing he could do. And then in year two, he inherited another like 30 million in dead cap from the Quinn Trisha era. So really not much that he could do. I'm gonna speculate here, and I'm gonna say this: when they sat down and had their meeting with Sheila, Mrs. Sheila Hamp, and said, "This is my plan," and they scratched it out on that napkin or piece of paper, whatever they said that they did, piece of paper, and they hired him to a 6-year deal, or I think Brad got 5 and Dan got 6. I think it was probably laid out like this: this is what this team needs. 1, a hard reset. 2, we've got to scrap everything to the mud, not the studs, the mud, right? We need to get everything back. We need to strip it all the way down. And then we need to build through the draft so that we can repair the cap, we get our money right, build our core foundation. And by year 4, I should be able to build us a good team through the draft. And by year 5, we're never looking back. That's how I see him doing it. Yes, I feel like he had the money, the resources, and everything to go and get us somebody at the trade deadline last year to help out that defense. But yes, I also feel like it was a major coaching blunder in that NFC title game. And I've said it time and time again that I don't care about the Josh Reynolds drop, because there was 5 things that went wrong in that game. And one of them was Aaron Glenn in the second half, or Dan Campbell, or both, that didn't say all we have to do is protect. That's it. We just need to protect our lead and get out of this game. Instead,
what happened?
They went aggressive. They got aggressive instead. They tried to show their might. They tried to show that they were the better team instead of just getting in and get the hell out, just like Brad Holmes said in the draft last year. I got in and got out. And he ended up with 4 impact players from it. They could have ended up with a Lombardi trophy. We would have beat the snot out of the Chiefs. So
I know.
I think it was a major coaching blunder, but I hear you. I think that Brad Holmes has this plan and process that he talks about. And I think that he's slow rolling when fans are like, man, no, we're ready now. And we are so far past, the minute of waiting. We're sick of waiting.
Right.
And it's frustrating. So I hear you. I agree with you. I just think that there's a bigger plan.
But let me ask you this, Dan. Do you actually think this team going to go to the Super Bowl this year? And be honest. You know they're not.
Yeah, you know what?
The way it looks.
So I would tell you right now, I don't think so, because for a few reasons. 1, it's extremely hard just to get back to the playoffs. Any team. So look at this. Last season, the Lions had 8 games against 7 teams that were previous playoff teams. Only one of them made it back to the playoffs. It's extremely hard. Extremely hard to get to the playoffs. I mean, we were 9-3, just skating our way into the playoffs, and we took it down to the last minute to win the NFC North. So anything can happen.
I'm scratching my head to this day. I don't know how we got to the NFC Championship game with that defense.
Offense.
Every game,
the offense wins right now.
It was a nail. I can't. You know what? I can't look at another game like that for the next year. Every game like that, I was biting my nails. Every game. It was ridiculous. They really shouldn't even made the playoffs, because some of these teams came back. The only way they came back, the clock saved them. Lions had the last possession, and the clock went out and ran out, because they was giving up points. They couldn't stop a cold. I mean, can you stop the bleeding? I mean, they couldn't stop nothing.
Right.
I mean, and I think, and this is me thinking, I'm thinking Dan Campbell is a yes man. Talk up to Brad Holmes. Tell him you need some dogs on this team. Whatever Brad Holmes say, he agreeing with them. And Aaron Glenn needs to stop up and be a man. Say something to the dude. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's like they scared to say talk up.
Well, I hope I hope that
beyond me.
I hope that they prove everybody wrong this year. I do. I hope that we can get back. And I don't want you guys to think I'm negative Nancy, like we can't get back to the Super Bowl. Every team in the NFL right now has the same shot at the Super Bowl. Every team. And until we get through training camp and figure out who this team is, we honestly won't know who this team is until about week 3 of the season. Week 1.
But he said December.
Who said that?
We wait until December to see how this team will be. I'm not waiting that long.
I think he wants to win. He wants to win in December, meaning.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he wants to win. He wants to make sure we're winning. But hey, shout out to Brett Rudzel, if I probably botched your name. Lions fan for 60 years. He says, I trust Brad and Dan. I'm a fan, so I only bitch when we're losing. Now we're winning. Enjoy it. Quit your bitching and rejoice. It's kind of funny. Look, we're winning, but we're realistic too.
But you know what? The thing about winning, yes, the offense is doing it, but you got to have some kind. I played football in high school. You got to stop somebody.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, somebody. You just can't let these quarterbacks run wild on you. You let Justin Fields look like Tom Brady. And Geno Smith, you know what he is.
Geno.
He's been a scrub for years.
Yeah.
And you let this dude do you in. You make him look like Tom Brady. You make him look good. Mr. Trubisky, he was horrible, and you made him look like I don't know what. And that's right. I'm going to complain. Yeah, you winning. You win it just because on the tip of your nose that you got an offense. You barely escaped last year, which you shouldn't have been an NFC title game. And Brad Holmes sits there. You need a defense. You need somebody on that line. Quit being cheap and go out there and spend some money. I know you got the money now because Derek said, "Wait, we're gonna know what he made of this year." Okay, now I see what he made of. I know what he's going to do. He's not going to get you'll see. You know how Joe Dumars did when he did with the Pistons
the
first year. He was cheap too. He got all the Pistons players. He kept on doing it. Everybody caught up with him, and he started making bad decisions later through the years. They fired him too. That's why I think what's going to happen to Brad Holmes. Get rid of him. Everybody thinking this guy is a god. And they, hey, he do no wrong. He did this. He did that. The guy got holes in him. All he did was drafted a few players. They turned out to be good. And it was winning games. Yes, true enough. And Campbell, he could coach his butt off. Now, he's a good coach. But anything you got to fault is Brad Holmes. Nobody else. And the team don't look good now. And what he's doing right now doesn't look good. I'm just upset and mad with it because I was on the phone looking at TV with my friend. He said, give him a chance. Give him a chance. I said, we had chances. I said, the dude's not going to do anything. And he waited right till everybody left. Was it no more players? He do that every year. I know. Look at what he do.
Last year he jumped out quick. I mean, last year he snagged Cam Sutton pretty quick. CJ Gardner took a minute because the Eagles were kind of playing with him. And then he snagged Emmanuel Mosley pretty quick. So, but I think Emmanuel was that signing that was like, he was supposed to be the number one, but they just didn't know when he was going to come back. So I really think that Brad tried last year. I think that he tried to facilitate, fill in the holes with some big name players. and it just didn't work out the way that he expected it. I think that we had some coaching issues. You know, Dre Bly didn't work out. John Scott didn't work out.
Know what?
And I think this year we're going to see a little bit of a revamp with the coaching staff. And maybe it'll help us.
No, Will, I know. And I got you on here. I don't mean to sound bad about the like bashing up. I'm not bashing. I'm just fed up with him because I've seen enough of what he do. I mean, it's the same thing. He gets these injured players all the time. He gets them all the time. Or somebody practice squad. He used them as a Band-Aid to cover up another patch, to patch something up.
Yeah, I think
I feel sorry for Aiden Hutchinson.
I do think that there's some method to his madness. And look, I don't always agree with it. I mean, the realistic side of me will tell you this, that I believe that some of these 1-year deals are to get through the season so that he can continue to build through the draft. And that way he's not tied up with these big contracts that are going to kill our cap. He's said it. Everything that Brad Holmes has told us, he's done, right? So he said that he's not going to go out and sign big name free agents. He's said that numerous times. He hasn't done it yet. The biggest contract that he signed, the biggest contract that he signed in free agency right now is Carlton Davis. So outside of Cam Sutton's 3-year deal, but APY wise, Carlton Davis. He said that he's going to build the team through the draft, and then he's going to extend and re-sign his own. We have yet to see that, but he's going to do it. Graham Glasgow, he re-signed. That's one of his own from last year. That is the first free agent that he's re-signed, that he brought in. I'm sure I'll get corrected on that because I can't remember if there's anybody else. I don't think there is other than Kaminsky. I think he re-signed. And Charles Harris, I think, was already with the team. They re-signed.
Oh, I know he got the. Hold on, they re-signed Charles Harris?
No, not today. I'm talking in 2021 and 2022.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyway, you know, these are the moves that Brad Holmes is going to do. He's going to continue. So like you say, it's patchwork, get through the season. He's got, 80% of a pretty solid roster, starting roster. The other 20%, he's going to facilitate the best way he can, get through this season. And then you're into another draft, which means now you've added 4 or 5 more players to the team that are low cap, long contracts. And by the time you get, to year 5, year 6, your core is there. The players that you want are there. And then you're never going to look back because you've built the foundation the right way. Now, the fast and furious teams, the teams that are out there spending shit tons of money right now, excuse my French, those are the teams that will not have sustained success. The Bears, they're going to fall apart. True. They're going to fall apart.
Yeah, you're right.
If you look at the Packers, did they go out and sign a bunch of big names? Not really. They got Josh Jacobs.
I know Chicago did.
Yeah, and they did last year too, and it's going to hurt them. How did Chicago finish last year? What they signed, 4 or 5 big names last year, big money contracts, and they had 3 wins?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it kind of speaks for itself.
I don't know how many wins they had, but they missed the playoffs. Not by much. They improved though.
Yeah,
but
a little
like
bit.
You said, it's going to hurt them.
I'm gonna ride with the villain. Just someone said in the chat, villain. I'm gonna ride with the villain a little bit longer. I'm gonna ride, co-pilot to him. Give me a couple more seasons. I'm not gonna agree with everything he does. I'm not, but
2 more seasons, right?
He's got 2 more seasons to show me what he's working with, and I think he'll get us there. I really do.
Okay.
I do.
I hope so.
As long as the coaches get us there, because Aaron Glenn was on the hot seat last year by all the fans. But I still think that it was a personnel issue too. Why do you think all the cornerbacks aren't coming back? He only kept 1.
Yeah.
He's only keeping 1, and that was Cam Sutton and Gilmore, just because he's a cheap camp body right now. So, all right, buddy. I appreciate you, Bruce. I appreciate you calling in tonight, man.
Okay. Okay. Love your show. Love your show.
I appreciate that. I really do. We'll see you on the next one. All right.
All right.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right.
Bruce done had enough of Brad Holmes. But you know what? That's why we do this show, because not everybody's going to agree, right? Not everyone is going to see through the trees like I've been hearing. I see through the trees, I guess. not everyone has the patience. Not everybody has the ability to wait. And I don't either. My dad will tell you, for a hot minute there, just a few years ago, man, I was at my wit's end. I was really at my wit's end. But Brad Holmes came, Dan Campbell came, and everything was right again. And even though they only had 3 wins that first season, I felt different because it was different. And now I'm totally bought into what they're doing because in 3 short seasons, we were 17 minutes from a Super Bowl. Best feeling I've ever had. Went to the best game that I've ever enjoyed, and we lost that game. But, I mean, it was the greatest game I've ever been to. So, all right, latest news. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on here. All right, let me check. Looks like nothing's really been updated for about an hour here, according to Tom Pelissero. The last thing that was reported was Sheldon Rankins. And I think that still is standing the test of time right now. According to Ian Rappaport, the last thing that was reported was... he's talking about Kirk Cousins, but then Sheldon Rankins. And 25 minutes ago, Cleveland Browns signed Tony Brown and then Sheldon Rankins. So not much happening. I think that the Lions have packed it in for the night. You just never know. You never know when Brad Holmes is going to do something. Let me get back in the chat. I appreciate you guys being patient, having a little bit of patience, going through the phone calls with everybody. There's no way I'm going to be able to go through all those messages. Will Scott says the Lions still have to make good financial decisions. We still have to be ready for late season moves without being money strapped. That's a great point. And we still have like 4 guys to potentially extend this year. I mean, all of the, conversation has been around extending Goff, St. Brown, and, a couple of others. Ali McNeil, Penei Sewell. How are we going to get that done? If we were to do that right now, like right now, you don't have any cap, right? To do all of those moves, you would think. But if you re-sign or you extend St. Brown right now and you pay him, I don't know, $4 million on the season, big signing bonus, but $4 million or something on the season. If you extend Penei Sewell and you have to pay him, $5-6 million on the season, there's $9 million. If you extend Goff, well, 30 million of his is, or 32 million of his is already attributed towards the cap. But if you extend him and pay him 20 million this year, that opens up 10 million, which then covers St. Brown and Sewell. And I'm talking the additional money to what they're already being paid this year. So they can still get it all done and still open up some cap. So there's still moves to be made. And they still have plenty of money to do it. And yeah, back to someone's point, I think it just disappeared. Someone said, yeah, the Lions were in cap purgatory when Brad Holmes took over this team. And then that's true. I mean, I will always stand by Brad from that standpoint, that when you take over a team and you're $65 million in the hole because of contracts like Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins and a whole host of others, I mean, they were paying on dead money for days, it seemed like. So 65 million in the hole, that's a big number. That was like 1/3 of the cap. And it's dead money. 65. Imagine if we had 65 million right now. What could you have gotten done with that money? A lot. And then the next year, it got better. I think the number was 30 million. And then this year it was supposed to be $1 million. But I didn't attribute, some of the other contracts that were void years, like CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think Josh Reynolds was part of it. There was a couple of other ones. And so it creeped the number up, I think, closer to 10 million. But still, we went from 65 to 45 to 10. Matter of fact, let me look. I don't want to give you bad info. Let me look. All right, so our dead cap is, where is it? Ooh, 23 million. Tracy Walker, 7.3. Vitae, 3.8. Romeo Aquara, 3.5. Chauncey Gardner, 2 million. Charles Harris, 1.9. Graham Glasgow, 1.5. Emmanuel Mosley, $1 million. Marvin Jones, $800K. Isaiah Buggs, $500K. Teddy Bridgewater, $500K. So it was Emmanuel Mosley. It wasn't Josh Reynolds. So that's confusing to me, because if you just re-signed Graham Glasgow and Emmanuel Mosley, why is that now dead money? Like, shouldn't that be included in the new contract and not dead money anymore? But Tracy Walker was added this year. As far as his dead money, Isaiah Buggs, because he was cut or let go. Teddy Bridgewater retired. That was just part of the contract. So we were sitting about 13 million in dead cap this year before we cut Tracy and a couple of other moves. And that's not bad. I mean, even when you look at next year, I'd have to go in and look at all the void years. I wish that Over the Cap would add that. I wish they would add like a void year box to this, that you could figure out how much is owed to these players, in void years, when you can look at the overall picture of the top 51. And right now on the active roster, the Lions have 57 players. So when you're talking about, how many more people are we going to sign potentially? Well, you need 90 guys for camp, right? And if we have 57 players signed right now, and the Lions are expected to sign at least 4 more of their guys, that puts us at 61. You're potentially only going to get 6 guys through the draft. So that puts you at 67. So we still have 23 guys to sign between now and camp. It seems a bit much, doesn't it? 23 guys to sign. And I don't know if this is fully updated. So Carlton Davis is in here. Amik Robertson is in here. Man, they should really break this down and put the new guys into a different area. I don't see Davenport in here. So if Davenport's not in here, which he's not, I don't see him anywhere in here. We have 58 guys signed or will be signed. The interesting thing about this year is Jared Goff has $0 in guaranteed money. Taylor Decker has $0 in guaranteed money. Carlton Davis has $0 in guaranteed money. Jamison Williams has $0 in guaranteed money because of his gambling issue last year. And John Kaminsky, $0 in Amon Ra, $0. Aleem McNeil, $0. Derek Barnes, $0. So a lot of our guys, Iffy, Kirby, Hendon, Broderick Martin, Craig Reynolds, and a whole host of others have no guaranteed money this year. That's just insane to me. So, yeah, we traded for Carlton Davis, but if he was to be cut right now, let's see what would happen. If we cut him right now before June 1, the Lions would save $14.3 million. If we cut him post June 1, we'd save $14.3 million. So maybe that trade wasn't as bad as I thought. Because right now it's a no-risk trade. You would lose a third-round pick. That's it. That's all you would lose. Maybe he could have sweetened the pot a little bit by saying, a conditional third-round pick. He's got to make the roster and play more than 75% of the games. Otherwise, you got to give us a fourth-round pick back in 2025. That would have been a better deal. I'm sure a lot of these players are financially secure, but I don't think that Goff is. I don't think that he's going to take a cheap deal. I think that he might be friendly with how the deal is worked out, but I don't think that. I don't think that he's going to take a cheap deal just because his agent is the one that is going to make the deal. Goff can have some say in it, but very little. It's the agent that makes the deal. And if they say, I want 50 mil or we're not signing, Goff can't tell him to sign. He can fire his agent, but there's a contract there too that he's going to have to get out of. That's the one thing that we should all understand too, is it's not so much the player, it's the agent. And I found out the other day that, the top 51 contracts only count. True. That's very true, Nick. The one thing that, I said the other day is that I was accepted to that program, for scouting and to take the courses and do the classes with the scouting. So the other thing I found out is they have classes to become NFLPA certified, or a course to become NFLPA certified as an agent. And I briefly had the conversation with Megan, like, man, maybe that's something I should just do so that I can learn about all of the contracts a little bit deeper and just learn more about the NFL as a whole. Don't know that I would become an agent, but I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to at least examine or learn, a little bit more about the NFL. I'm on pace with Jack Campbell. I think that he could become an all-pro. I don't know about this year, but I think that he's got it in him. I absolutely do. That dude's FBI is off the charts, man. The guy is super smart, and he has the body to do it, All right, so last poll real quick. So 58% of you believe the Lions are going to be better than 12-5. That's a good start. So let's do one more poll, and then we're going to get out of this tonight. So we still got tomorrow to do. So last poll is this: will the Lions make it to the NFC title game again? Brock Purdy juked him like a high school player. I didn't see that play. I'll have to watch it. So Tim Hargett says, I think that we end up with the same record. I wouldn't be mad. I got this stupid mosquito in here. I wouldn't be mad about the same record at all. I think the 12-5 would be very close to winning the NFC North, though. I think the Packers are coming. I think that what we saw out of Jordan Love last year was the worst that he's ever going to be. And that's just being realistic, because I hate the Packers. Absolutely hate the Packers. Can't stand the Packers. The one team that I hate losing to more than the Packers is the Cowboys. And I know for some of you that's probably reversed, and it probably should be reversed based on what happened last year. I just hate the Packers. I can't stand them. Nobody mentions bets. No, we just don't know anything about bets yet. We don't, where the jury is out on bets. Okay. Nick P says, so I said my perfect scenario, the Lions sign either Reeder or Armstead, sign OG Kevin Zietler, and Holmes gets bold and trades up in the draft for Jared Verse. Ooh, I like Verse. But I think you're right. I think that he needs to either sign Reeder or Armstead to kind of make up for this week. And I think that it would be wise to bring in, another offensive guard and be set before the draft. At least be set so that you have more freedom in the draft. Because then it doesn't matter if you're moving up or moving back. If you're just going to plug, holes. Excuse me. If you're just going to go plug holes in the draft, you're kind of left wide open. You're a little bit vulnerable. But I will say this. Brad Holmes, in 2021, everyone doubted him. He said, don't judge me now. In 2024, he addressed the media about 2021, and he was right. In 2023, everyone laughed at him. Couldn't believe that he just took Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. I called those picks. And I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, everybody hates me. Everyone thinks that I'm wrong because he just picked the people that I thought he was going to pick. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I really screwed up. And then he told or showed his hand again here this season in his press conference. The dude pulled 4 impact players that all should have been in the Pro Bowl, or finished better in the standings than they did. So I think that he's built a ton of trust. And that's why people trust, his process and in what he's doing. So I'm not thrilled about this week so far, but I'm going to have to hold out some hope still. Got to smoke the hopium. And I do hope that our new defensive line coach, to your point, Doug, does make a big difference. I think that, one of my better videos that I should maybe redo, because it was prior to me really doing YouTube, was about the whole, Todd Wash thing. Todd Wash leaves, defensive line completely falls apart. John Scott wasn't good. So maybe I'll redo that video, because there was a huge letdown between Todd Wash and John Scott. And we've seen it this last season, really, really fall apart. And we need this new dude, Williams, to really step it up. Hostage 4-2. I do not know what that word means. I've never seen it before. So now I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah, I'm tired I'm exhausted, man. I don't know how these other guys can do it. They must be on these, designer drugs or something that they get from physicians to be able to stay awake and do their job. But yeah, I run off of pure whatever my body makes that day. Yeah, Tyson, I hope he knocks out that punk. I can't stand what's happening to boxing right now. Like my one of my next channels is going to be UFC and like I'm a big boxing fanatic. Used to box when I was young. And yeah, boxing's falling apart. But UFC is good. So, all right. Yeah, I love to see Tyson do his thing, but this is a money grab. Let's not be not realistic. This is just a money grab. Tyson lost all of his wealth, and now he's going to get paid what $100 million for this fight or something crazy. So, got you, Doug. I've never seen that word before. Oh, gotcha, buku. Gotcha. All right. Well, look, you guys have been great. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight, hanging out for a couple hours. Chat is live as always. Better the Hunt. Tracy, thank you for moderating tonight. I'd like to know how you guys felt about the stream tonight. So was it easier slowing down? Does it bother you slowing down, the chat a little bit just because we can help manage, the chat a little easier? Subscribers, we asked for people to be subscribers tonight so that we can build a regular crowd. I think we gained about, 10 or 12 subscribers tonight. And if you guys haven't subscribed and you're listening, please do. So that way you can get into the chat and comment and hang out with some of the best fans ever. The best community ever is right here. And a lot of them frequent a lot of the channels around on YouTube. So it's good to get to know everybody and be part of a community that has been, ever standing, good people. So I can't thank you guys enough. And let's finish this poll. So 64% of the people in here tonight believe that the Lions are going to make it back to the NFC title game. And we had 39 votes. Appreciate that, Will Scott. Shelves need to have a little blue and silver in them, not all gray. Yeah, we were going to redo the whole thing. All right. You guys behave, man. Have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow off the cuff. We'll break some news tomorrow if it happens. We do have Rise and Grind on in the morning. We're starting at 8 tomorrow. Derek's has an obligation tomorrow, so we're going to start at 8. And I believe it's already up and posted, so you can join Rise and Grind at Rockdown Syndicate tomorrow. It'll also be on this channel. April 1st, it will not be on this channel anymore, so you got to subscribe to the other one. We're really not paying a ton of attention to that channel right now, but once we switch over, it's curtains. We're going for it all. Got to have it ready before the draft. So you guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's hope that Brad Holmes makes some more moves so that you guys can have a little bit of a smile on your face tomorrow instead of all these frowns. All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. Take care. Have a good night.